We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome. We have first adoption of the agenda for the June 27th, 2017 regular meeting of council. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Reimer. Are there any errors or anything to be added or deleted? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Adoption of the previous minutes. Adoption of the minutes of the June 13 regular meeting of council. That the minutes of the June 13 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented. Councillor Reimer, Councillor Torgerson. Are there any errors or omissions? Councillor Torgerson?
Perhaps just a parliamentary item. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Worship. I had it. The defeated motion in Resolution 215-17. I believe there's more than one member of council in opposition to make that defeated.
You were in favor, Councillor Reimer was in opposition, correct?
Correct.
So I just put who was in opposition.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? All in favor? Carried. Tonight we have a delegation from the Thompson-Nicola Regional District and Ministry of Jobs, Tourism and Innovation regarding UNESCO Geopark for the Robson and North Thompson Valleys region. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Your Worship Salt, first of all providing us the opportunity to present this project to the Village Council. What I wanted to kind of go, obviously we're here to review, as you indicated, the Wells Gray North Thompson Geopark. And with me today I have Steve Nichols from Lionsgate Consulting. He's on the phone. And he'll be doing, the PowerPoint presentation. Miles Bruns is with us, and he's the Regional Manager, Ministry of Jobs, Tourism and Innovation. Ron Story, one of my co-workers, is here, and he's the TNRD's Director of Community Services and has been working on this project with me for quite a while. And I'm Suk Gill, I'm the CAO for the Regional District and have been working on this project. So. The project entails basically establishment of a geopark with boundaries extending from the district of Barrier in the south up to the village of Valemount in the north, including a portion of the electoral area H in the Fraser Fort George surrounding this area. We will be doing a similar presentation to the Regional District Board in the July meeting when it's here. And currently where we are in the project at the Regional District, TNRD Regional District, is we are in the throes of establishing a local service for this, only for our portions of the boundary from Barrier all the way up to Blue River. Those folks that we've got included in our side, I think Steve's going to cover this off, and so I probably don't want to duplicate a lot of that. I'll probably leave it at that right now. We're certainly going to be answering any questions that council may have, and we'll turn it over to Steve to give the background. A lot of this project has been around for a better part of 10 years. And it's picked up more steam, I think, in the last couple of years, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're in the process of establishing service at the regional district, and hoping to have, at the end of the day, leave a request with you, and we'll probably send a letter to that regard, the village's participation as a participant in this project, and similarly, the Fraser Fort George. So I will turn it over to Steve to do the presentation at this point, so if hopefully we have him on the line.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, everybody's nodding, Steve.
Right? Oh, okay, yeah. Good. So, good afternoon, everybody. Suk, do you have the PowerPoint up and showing?
Yep, it's showing, Steve's.
Okay, so I'll just take 7 or 8 minutes to walk through a short number of slides here, and then we'll have some questions at the end. And so what is this? Wells Gray, North Thompson, and Robson Valley Global Geopark Project. That's quite a mouthful. But this is a major park initiative, being one of the largest in the world. So what is a geopark? A geopark is a UNESCO initiative. So for those of you who don't know, UNESCO is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, and they basically run the geopark network. They approve all the geoparks. So a geopark is an area of geological heritage of international value. So one of the criteria for being part of the network is that you have some special geological features, and certainly this area has its fair share. What is the purpose of the geopark? And I want to make this perfectly clear. The geopark is not a park in the sense of a physical area that has some sort of designation in the law of the province of British Columbia. It is a what I would call a virtual park. So it's something where you have obviously a line around an area, but it's really about developing sustainable economic development through tourism. So it's not about protection. It's not about conservation. A geopark is about economic development through geotourism. Right now, there's 120 parks in 33 countries, but there's only 2 in North America. There's one in New Brunswick, and the other is in Tumbler Ridge. The next slide just shows the proposed geopark service area. So as Sue said, it goes from Barrier just north of Valemount, so it's capturing the North Townsend Valley and the southern extent of the Robson Valley. And as I mentioned off the top, this would be this would be the largest geopark in the world if it's designated. Just moving on, some of the background here. As I mentioned, we have some unique geology, especially in the Wells Gray area, but also moving up toward the Rocky Mountains. And this, in our view, could be a good foundation for tourism growth. We really don't see it being taken advantage of in terms of the current visitor experiences that people are engaged in as they come through the corridor. The geopark is actually tied into some previous planning exercises, so those are listed here. The Barrier to McBride Corridor Regional Economic Investment Pilot, which was a provincial government initiative back in 2012. North Thompson Valley Tourism Plan of 2013. This particular initiative we're working on now was preceded by a project feasibility study in 2015. And I'll just close off this slide by saying that there is a significant destination planning initiative being undertaken right now by Destination BC. They're going across the province to every region and undertaking destination development plans. And this would be an initiative that would fit quite nicely into that initiative. I can't tell you where exactly the North Thompson and Valemount, Robson Valley would be in that Destination BC initiative, but it would not be one plan, it would be 2. So there would be one for the Robson Valley and another one for the North Thompson and Okanagan. So just moving on, geopark features. This is a very large area, I mentioned that. It includes the entire corridor, obviously the whole highway corridor, but also river corridor. There would be numerous partners involved. One of the advantages of having numerous partners from such a large area is it allows you to leverage resources and disperse those costs. The geopark is a relatively simple administration. We're talking about 1 or 1 point something people. It's not really a huge initiative in the financial sense. And again, the economic and tourism mandate is really what drives the geopark. Economic benefits. So one of the questions that we get when we talk about geoparks is, why would we take on a perpetual cost to make this happen? And really the answer is that the economic benefits, if the economic benefits outweigh the cost, that society as a whole, and specifically the communities within the study area, would be better off by having the park than without it. The 2015 feasibility study determined that the benefit cost ratio would be positive. In other words, benefits would outweigh the costs, and I'll talk about the financial numbers in just a second here. And just to close this off, a geopark it's not about protection and conservation, it's about diversifying the regional economy. So this next slide just gives you a sense of some of the numbers. So the way this works is that if you designate a geopark, and if you undertake a sufficient amount of programming, by programming I'm talking about market this, brand this, integrate it with your current tourism marketing and sort of community promotion and whatnot, then you should be able to experience a net rise in visitation. So the net rise in visitation is really what drives these numbers that you're looking at. So we anticipate anywhere from a 6 to 8% increase in visitation, and this is what happens. The rest of these numbers are basically driven off that top row. And so GDP, employment, government revenue, so that the moderate scenario is 6%, the aggressive scenario is 8%. And as you can see, it really doesn't take a lot to generate that incremental impact. So when we just look at the finances just in a slide here, what we're talking about is yes, we're talking about a financial resource to operate the park, but these are the economic benefits that you get. And these benefits, of course, would go primarily to local businesses. So this is the application process. It's a two-step process. There's a letter of intent that has to go to Canada, to the geopark folks in Canada. They look at the letter of intent, and once they sign off on it, a formal application is prepared and goes to the UNESCO folks in Europe. And then once it's designated, there's obviously an operational phase for the park. So I'll just quickly go through those. The staffing, in order to undertake those 3 steps, there would need to be a planning coordinator approximately for 9 months. The purpose of that coordinator is to prepare and submit the letter of intent. So there's research to pull together, and obviously templates to sort of conform to so that it meets requirements of the Canadian geopark folks. And then once they sign off and the formal letter of intent, there would be a planning coordinator, approximately a year required to pull that together. So this is about a 3-year process altogether to get to the designation stage. Ideally, the planning coordinator in these 2 steps would be the same person, but this is the duration. And then, of course, there's an executive director or manager, whatever name you want to say, for operations. That would be a single person. So just moving on to core partners, local government, Simpcw First Nation. The study area covers more than the Simpcw First Nation traditional territory. So I suspect that there would have to be outreach beyond the Simpcw First Nation, but this is their primary territory. BC Parks, Destination BC, Townsend Okanagan Tourism Association. I should have put in there Northern BC Tourism Association as well, because that's their territory in the Robson Valley. Ministry of Jobs, Geoscience BC, which obviously are the geological heritage folks, and Thompson Rivers University. The estimated costs, the letter of intent, $130,000, formal application, $156,000. The numbers in brackets are the government, is our estimate of local government share. And then annual operations, 160 to 170. Now, the last 2 bullets there are just to clarify the numbers above. So the estimated annual local government costs, that applies to the 3rd bullet, not including potential grant funding, would be about $95,000. Some costs would be a reallocation. So what I'm saying is that this is sort of a worst case scenario, if you want to put it that way, the 95. Some of these costs can easily be offset by sort of working the geopark into the existing tourism landscape or the marketing landscape. So there is an opportunity to sort of shape this and keep it affordable. But when we were doing the feasibility, we thought we may as well lay the absolute worst numbers on the table so nobody is fooled by what exactly it would take to move this forward. A geopark will never be financially self-sustaining, so I want to clarify this as well. There is some thinking that if you establish a park and you get more visitors, somehow there must be a way to get those visitors to pay for the park, and it just doesn't work that way. This would have to be a community sort of government joint initiative. Lots of people have tried to figure out how to extract money out of the tourists to make this work, but it's very complicated. And as I said, it just doesn't work. The money that the tourists are spending are going to local businesses. That's the economic benefit. That's the rationale for undertaking the estimated cost. And my last slide here is really about referring back to the park issue. Some people really freak out when they hear the term park. So I just want to clarify a few things here. What would the geopark actually make a difference in terms of on the ground, in terms of differences on the ground that you would see in any community, whether it's Valemount or whether it's Barrie or whether it's Clearwater? And the question is very little. So the focus of the geopark is on branding, coordinated marketing, interpretation to visitors. The land use regime does not change. If you go into Flinroe, or if you go into BC Parks, or if you go into any provincial government ministry, there's not a legally stated park protected area attached to this geopark. So in that sense, nothing changes. Site development, and also status quo for mining and forestry. Again, the land use regime, the access, the way tenures work, the way forest licenses are issued, the way cut blocks are approved, the way mining licenses are issued, the way mines are approved, that does not change. And by the way, we have a couple of very large mines sort of under study in the North Townsend Valley, and they would be just unaffected by this process. So what would site development look like? Well, what we see happening are trail and site access improvements, staging area amenities, trail and site signage, VC interpretive materials, the sort of what I call soft infrastructure that would go into improving access mainly into the backcountry and primarily to geological features. So that's my slide. This is all the information we have to present to today. And I guess, Sue, you're going to talk about the letter that will, a letter of request that's going to be sent in the next couple of weeks. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have about this project.
So thank you, Steve, for doing that. So certainly, Your Worship, I think, that probably consumes the amount of time we have as a delegation, but the intent is to obviously present the information. We will be sending forward a formal letter for the village's participation in this endeavor as a partner as we kind of move along the spectrum. As Steve says, it's a fairly lengthy one. And as our board, we've initiated that establishment of service. And just on that, I did hand out to each of you a bit of a brochure that we just got approval from the ministry last week as to they've approved our bylaw, so it can go to our next board to initiate that alternate approval process that we'll be doing and completing over July and August and ending into early September. So certainly we'll answer any questions that council may have at this point. So
Thank you. We'll open it up for council. Anyone have any questions or comments? Do you see some frantic scribbling? Councillor Torgerson, do you have any questions? No?
Thank you.
Hearing none. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
So I could not come up all this way without leaving a token of our appreciation. It's the TNRD's 50th anniversary this year, so we've left a pen and a pin at each of your stations, and it's on November the 24th. I think we're 50 years old this year, and so just appreciation. And once again, thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Yep, cheers.
So council, Entertain a motion that the delegation from the TNRD and Ministry of Jobs, Tourism and Innovation be received for information. Councillor Reimer, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? Carried. On to 5.1, unfinished business, street naming request, Fowler. That the new street created by Phase 1 of the subdivision at 1805 Dogwood Street, Lot A, District Lot 7255, Caribou District Plan EPP 61378 be named Fowler Place, or that the new street created by Phase 1 of the subdivision at 1805 Dogwood Street be named appropriately at council's discretion. Councillor Reimer.
Motion that the new street be named Fowler Place.
Second, Councillor Torgerson. Any discussion? Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. We have no correspondence for action. Reading file, does anyone wish to comment on reading file at all? No? On to 8.1 administrative reports, our 2016 annual report. The recommendation is that council approves the 2016 annual report as presented, or that council approves the 2016 annual report with amendments forming part of this resolution. Councillor Torgerson.
I'll move that council approve the 2016 annual report with the duplications being reviewed and coming back with third and fourth. Duplications within the report need to be reviewed.
That were raised to corporate officer Shepherd, or sorry, corporate services Clerk. And Councillor Reimer, do you have comments?
No, second that.
Okay, second that. All in favor? Carried. Accounts payable report 8.2, that the May 2017 accounts payable report be accepted for information purposes. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Reimer, any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Parcel Tax Roll Committee, that 3 members of council be appointed to the Parcel Tax Roll Review Panel, and 2, that a time and place be established for sitting of the panel. Do you want a motion to open for discussion? Councillor Blanchette? Councillor Torgerson? CAO, Davey, do you want to comment anything as to timeliness or not such urgency?
Thank you, Your Worship. We can push it administratively for council to decide on a timeline. We would be looking at a recommendation of October just to allow a bylaw to go through as well. Legislation is 3 positions. Those positions do not have to be selected tonight. We could follow up after checking with all the council's schedules.
Okay. Council have any questions? Councillor Torgerson?
The bylaw would need to be passed by October, or to the committee to be convened in October, by October.
Bylaw would have to be passed. The committee does not have to convene in October. It's just a suggestion. But bylaw first, Your Worship.
Councillor Blanchette?
Why don't we get the bylaw in order first, and then we can put the committee together after that. Gives us time.
Councillor Reimer, do you have any comments, questions?
No. Go with that.
Okay. So then we aren't actually making this resolution. We're just instructing staff to
Your Worship, if we could defeat it then and bring forth another one.
bring forth another one, okay?
There's what's on the floor is just discussion. If you want to receive that, and then
Receive the discussion. So all in favor of receipt of discussion? Carried. Now, motion to defeat, that 3 members of council be appointed to the Parcel Tax Review Panel tonight. No, we don't need to defeat that. Sorry, we don't need to.
No motion on the floor.
No motion for that. No, it was just open for discussion. So we'll just take a motion to direct staff to
correct, Your Worship.
start working on the bylaw and bring it back to council at such time. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? Carried. Anything else to add on that?
That's good, Your Worship.
8.4 subdivision update. We received a report from subdivision improving officer Gord Simmons. Be accepted for information. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Reimer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Carried. 8.5 Hillside Drive accessibility. The recommendation is that this report be received for information and the matter be deferred back to staff for further research. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Reimer. Any discussion, council?
Looking forward to more information on this matter.
I agree. Anything else? Hearing nothing further, all in favor? Carried. 8.6 Statement of Financial Information, Sophie Report, that the 2016 Statement of Financial Information Report be approved. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Torgerson. Any questions or comments, council? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Bylaws and policies, 9.1 Permissive Tax Exemption Policy Number 58. The recommendation is that the application provision and deadline dates in Permissive Tax Exemption Policy Number 58 be changed from June 1st and 30th to July 1st and 31st. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Blanchette. Any questions or comments? Councillor Reimer?
July 1st is still right after or right before taxes are due, so is that still within that window where you wouldn't want to deal with this, or why particularly July 1st to set the maximum timing going this?
Your Worship, Director of Finance just felt the 1 month shift to the right would then just enable more time to get it through. So she's confident with those dates, everything would line up.
These exemptions are for the following tax year? Just, yeah, okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Village of Valemount, Cranberry Lake Road, Highway 5, West Sanitary Sewer Local Area Service Establishment Bylaw Number 762, 2017. That was a mouthful. The Village of Valemount, Cranberry Lake Road, Highway 5, West Sanitary Sewer Local Area Service Establishment Bylaw Number 762, 2017 be given first, second, and third reading. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Blanchette. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Carried. Council reports. Councillor Blanchette.
So, June 5th, I had a children and youth mental health meeting. The 6th was the arena. We met up in Dunster. We met with Regional District to discuss morphing the committee. And we took on some new applications for board members. Then on the 19th, I had our first sign committee meeting with Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. We're going to be getting new road signs, so we're designing those now. The 26th, I had an RVSS Robson Valley Support Society meeting. And on the 26th, we had our Valemount sub-sign committee to discuss and figure out how we want our signage to look and the correct little icons and stuff. That's it.
Thank you. You're busy. Councillor Reimer.
She made up for my lack, so.
We all take turns, right?
I'd like no turn.
Excellent. Councillor Torgerson?
The 14th, I participated in a VARTA board meeting. The 19th, it was with Councillor Blanchette and McBride for the provincial signage initiation. On the 21st, I had a direct heat use committee meeting. Again, on the 26th with Councillor Blanchette, a follow-up with the Valemount subcommittee for signage, provincial signage. And I am here before you now.
Thank you. You had a busy week as well. I, myself, attended my first ever Columbia Basin Regional Advisory Committee meeting in Nelson, and had a really interesting and informative time. It's a fabulous working group reviewing the Columbia River Treaty, upstream, downstream benefits and negotiations, and really looking forward to continuing with that group and getting some information out into the community, so our community members know what it's about and what's going on. So I'll probably work with another one of our local citizens that is a part of that group as well. I had a Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association board meeting on Friday the 23rd, and my first official one as president, so it was a little longer meeting. We had a lot of material to discuss, and pleased to be announcing that we're holding a strategic planning for the future of the association on August 18th. So we'll be keeping council and membership updated on that. And this morning I attended or participated in a BC Hydro Operations Update conference call for Valemount along with Councillor Torgerson. I heard you on the line. And here tonight. So thank you. Anyone have anything else to add? Want to add any activities? Councillor Torgerson?
Just with the conference call this morning, yes, I participated, but I was wearing my pirate hat, not my councillor
Your
cape.
marina hat. And I actually appreciated some of your questions. I might have to ask you a few questions to clarify for me some of what was discussed. So, excellent. So we will take a motion to receive the council reports. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Torgerson. All in favor? Carried. We have no new business. List of outstanding previous council resolutions. That the list of outstanding previous council resolutions be received for information. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Reimer. All in favor? Carried. Calendar event, no motion required. And now to 14.1, public comments on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda.
Jamin, that's right. I'm curious about the extent of this geopark. Would it also include the North Thompson Valley, the Kinnibass Lake area as well?
We can let the gentleman answer. We don't normally do a question and answer, but I don't know. Does it include Kinnibass Lake? I don't think it does.
Remember, well, actually,
Doesn't look like it on here. No.
Your worship,
Yes, Councillor Gordson.
perhaps the citizen can
Meet with them afterwards, yeah.
Probably not. I think we can ask the reservoir. Okay, it's just
around that area.
yeah, and you can see it there, right? So it would just. It probably, I'm guessing, if I remember correctly, when we did the boundaries, it probably covers hidden land along the Kinnibass. But again, bear in mind that I guess the easy answer is if there's a really good reason to include it and it makes sense, then it might be,
It's amendable.
yeah.
I'm thinking especially of the geothermal project that's going along the Kinnibass Lake area. There are significant hot springs in the area, but that might be included also as a geological entity.
And right, I can tell you right from the outset of the broader geopark, that has been included as part of that.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Your Worship.
If you have any further questions for the presenters on the geopark, certainly, I'm sure they wouldn't mind answering some questions for the public after the meeting. Is there any further public comments? Hearing none, I ask a motion that the public comments be received. Councillor Reimer, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? Carried. And we now will be proceeding to in-camera. The council proceeds to an in-camera council meeting for consideration of one item per section 91D and K of the community charter to discuss matters related to the security of the property of the municipality and negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. Councillor Torgerson, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone, for coming.